Welcome to The Gorgeous Effect, the podcast that's about to rock your marketing world. I'm Julie Chanel, and with my co-founder, Cathy Olson, we're the masterminds behind Funnel Gorgeous and FG Funnels. We're about to drop some serious tea on how to create funnels that not only look amazing, but actually convert into customers. We'll chat mouth-watering offers, copy, design, and give you an inside look of some of our best and worst funnels. No smoke and mirrors, just real strategies that work from two ladies who have been around the funnel block. So grab your coffee or something stronger, we won't judge, and get ready to unleash the gorgeous effect on your business. It's time to show the world what you've got. Let's do this. Hey everyone, this is Julie and Cathy. We are back with another episode from the Funnel Gorgeous Effect. Oh geez, it's been a day. We are talking today about the fact that we think webinars will never die. How many times do you think someone has said, webinars are dead?
Lots of times, but they're the undead. They're the zombies of the marketing world.
But seriously, like
The Walking Dead.
why do people use that phrase like email marketing is dead, Facebook
I
ads
know
are
exactly
dead?
why they do it. It's because they're
Why?
trying to attract people who don't want to do them. They want to make people feel better about it because people hate doing webinars, and so they want someone to say, "You don't have to do what you hate anymore. Just like you can eat whatever you want and lose weight." Like it's a marketing ploy to say they don't have to do the things they don't want to do because webinars are hard.
Yeah, I agree. And I've heard the webinars are dead phrase so many times. Like nobody watches webinars anymore. They're a waste of time. And I just like I want to go on record. I think webinars are never going to die. They may change significantly, but I don't think they're ever going to die. And I think I'm right. So there we go.
Yeah, I'm telling. Yeah, they're zombies. I'm planting my flag on that one. That there's zombies that you cannot kill. They
Okay, so
but for good reason.
I know. And you know, the other thing that's so funny is that when I am talking to clients and they're like, well, what should I do for my launch? You know, should I do a challenge? Should I do a summit? Should I do this? Should I do that? And I'm like, you should do a webinar. And I just get like groans, like, ah.
So what
And
else can I try?
what else?
But
Nobody
it's so
likes the
funny though
boring
because
thing.
again, I think if you truly understand that they are going to work and they are going to make a lot of money, why are you resisting?
That's a great question. So I think we should explore that because, all right, let's start by defining what is a webinar. It's just a presentation. Like it's a presentation that provides three things. The first is that it's got curiosity or what we call the hook, right? So it's got something that's going to like pull people's attention in. So that's the first key component of any kind of webinar. And you can call it a workshop, you can call it a masterclass, you can call it an info session, you can call it an open house, you can call it whatever the heck you want. But it's got these three things. It's got the hook, right? The curiosity factor. It's got the education. You could call that content. You could call that belief shifting, whatever you want. It's got that content. And then it's got the pitch, which is inviting people to an offer. So if you have those three parts in a presentation, whether it's talking heads, whether you've got a whiteboard, whether you're jumping on a trampoline and throwing post-it notes off the wall like Lady Boss used to do, or whether it's a beautiful slide deck, you are doing a webinar. Did I miss anything?
Well, I think it's the fastest way to go from unknown and nurturing and building trust. Like there's still, I think it's the gold standard for building trust and nurturing someone from like complete cold, completely freezing, or what it does like, and it doesn't matter what awareness. Like it overcomes so many obstacles. It could be any awareness level. They could be like not even problem aware, right? Like it can do so much marketing for you. Like it could do like a year's worth of marketing in 30 minutes.
Yeah,
Straight up.
exactly. And I think a lot of people they don't realize that in most cases when you're going after cold traffic, there's like a long cycle between when they know about you to when they buy. And that's fine. There's plenty of times where that makes sense. They download an opt-in, they hang on your list, they listen to your podcast, they eventually reach out to you. It's fine. But webinars can condense all of that in a short amount of time. They can take a cold person and warm them up and build trust and shift belief and get to the sale. And that's why they are so powerful. It's
Yeah. Can
also
we
like
talk
what you do
about
on
the
stage.
difference between live and evergreen because I feel like even evergreen are still way sexier.
I
Like
know. I
if
know.
you're gonna do a webinar, they're like, cool, but like, can we make it evergreen so I could just do it once and never have to show up again? Which is like, well, sometimes that's like, no, you cannot. So the ugly side or the one that people are most scared, the scariest zombie of them all is the live webinar because it takes
Yeah,
so much effort. But man, there's all that payoff, right?
I know. I know. There's so much payoff. So my thinking has shifted on this. So back in the olden days, 2017, which feels like three millennia ago,
Right.
I told people that they could just start with an on-demand or evergreen webinar, right? They could record a presentation, do an evergreen webinar, stick that presentation in there, run the traffic, and then, you might have to re-record the presentation a few times. That's fine. And then it gets better and better. And that's what I did. I mean, that's what I did with Create Your Laptop Live with TDG. Like you did it with Inspired Pro.
Hmm.
We just did the evergreen thing. It's harder now just because the trust factor is so much lower. And I also think people don't realize how much they suck at selling via presentation. And so they don't realize how much they have to practice. And so I think that I'm going to give a hat tip to Russell Brunson because, he used to say do it live every week for a year and I was like, "Oh my God, that's so much work." And I got away with doing it on demand without having to do that, but I feel like we're going back to that because the most successful people, like private clients I have right now, are doing that. They're doing live webinars once a week, perfecting their pitch, which is always better when it's live. And it's actually not that much work because everything is the same. Everything is automated, like on FG Funnels. They just show up every Monday at 12 o'clock and do their presentation.
Yeah, and we're not talking about a fake live webinar.
No,
We're
no, no,
talking
no,
about
no.
an actual a live webinar, like a real one. But you think about it, I mean, anytime something's difficult and like no one wants to do it or it's annoying or whatever, right?
Mhm.
that's that's how you stand out is because no one else is doing it. And so it's like, wow, she's actually doing a live, she's
It's
actually going to be
actually
live
here.
like next Monday or whatever. Like that's amazing. Like I'm interested because no one else is doing it and no one else is showing up that way. So it's kind of like that idea of, just doing the thing that no one else wants to do in order to stand out. It's kind of like, or the very anti-AI thing too, right?
Yeah.
Like I can get a lot of information from AI. This is the opposite of like the AI chatbot answering questions. It's like straight up Julie and Kathy or whatever, or we're here, we're live, we're actually doing something that like most people will be like, wait, what? What are they doing?
Yeah. So I'm seeing anywhere like, so in a live webinar, you can get, we like to say 5 to 10% of people to buy, which is fantastic, right? Because most sales pages, five is the upper KPI that you're looking at, and it's like 1 to 5. But on a live webinar, you're more at like 5 to 10. So that's amazing. But I'm seeing conversion rates up at 20%, 30%. If you're a good salesperson, up to 40%. I mean, I had someone just in my Voxer the other day said I did your webinar framework and I closed 44%. So this model is like, I feel like if you don't have a good presentation that creates curiosity, that delivers belief shifting transformational information, and then has a pitch, like you're missing one of the most critical sales assets you can have in your business. And I know it's annoying, but I don't
Well,
know. I
think
don't know. What
about
are
it.
some tips we can give
Well,
people to get over themselves?
I was going to say, if you think about it, even though it seems like more work, maybe it's actually less, right? Because if you think about like leverage of like the 80%, whatever, or the 20%, like whatever, I forget, but I forget how that works. But the idea is that if this is 80% of your sales, or if it makes like 50% more sales, or like whatever it means, right? Like you could spend all this time building on an evergreen webinar versus doing one live one and it oversell or outsells the evergreen, then where is your time better spent? Right? Like because with an evergreen you got to pay for ads, you got to do this that, and you got to whatever, like, and you got to optimize the funnels and blah. Like there's almost more work to be done that you could just borrow from the whole live component because I think there really is something to like even me like well I want to go to a live webinar because if I'm going to spend my time like it's a respect for time, right? If I'm going to
Yep.
spend an hour of my day, you also spending an hour of your day, like it just connects. We just connect with something. We're both here together. We're both having this experience together. And so the energy of a live webinar is bar none. Like nothing else can really replace it. But again, like I said, is it worth it if you only had to do like, 2 times a month of selling if that filled up your program versus all the freaking work you had to do and money to spend in the evergreen or the social content or posting or going in groups like does it really take more time?
Yeah. I mean, that's the funny part is like this. So this one client I'm thinking of, she's doing a weekly live webinar and she messaged me and she's like, I feel like this is too easy. I should be doing something else. And she was like, I'm like, no, no, no. Just, she wanted to change the
Don't
webinar.
talk about it. Don't breathe. Just keep doing
I was like,
it.
no. And
Don't
she's like,
jinx it.
because when you do a live webinar funnel, there's just a few things you have to change. So, like every Monday, she changes a few things on the funnel. That way, her ads can continue to run to the funnel. She doesn't have to upload new ads every week because the ads don't have a date on it, right? She keeps the date off. And she just changes the date on the funnel every week. She resets the timer. It's no big deal. And and then she shows up, she does that webinar, and then anybody who attended that particular webinar gets a replay sequence, and then she does it the next week. And so it's not more work, especially when you're saying what you're saying, like all the organic stuff that you're having to do and all the optimizing for ads for other offers and the launching and all this kind of stuff. The whole like it's so much more work. I think it's just the brain's resistance because we don't like to present live in person because it's scary. It's kind of like stage fright, but Zoom fright. I don't know.
Yeah. I have a
Webinar
friend
fright.
that does live webinars. They might be weekly. And it's so dialed in. She's like, I could do this in my sleep at this point. Like it's actually the easiest thing I do in my business is showing up and just doing this because I've done it so many times. It's like it's like singing a song. It's like, can you get on and sing a song you've heard 1,000 times? Of course you can. Like without even you could do it while walking the dog. You know what I mean? It's like it becomes so freaking easy. So again, it's yeah, just getting over that weird resistance of that and getting over the idea that you don't want to do a webinar. But I mean, you have to do it right. So that's the biggest thing. If you have the right
Yeah.
scripting of how to actually do the presentation, how to talk, like getting over that part of it, getting over yourself, like whatever, like getting makeup on or whatever you need to do, to make it happen. But once you get over that and you start doing it, it's so freaking easy. Like I don't want to say it's so freaking easy, but once you get the right formula in place, it is going to be your favorite thing.
Yeah. So as I said at the beginning, there's those three parts, right? There's the curiosity, the hook, there's the content, and then there's the pitch. What's really interesting is that people say the pitch is the hardest part. And the pitch is the hardest part, I think, to do live because we feel nervous about the rejection. But it's actually the easiest part of the webinar to script, right? Because it's got the most formulaic, parts to it. So I think it's funny. I always tell people when they're building their webinar to start with the pitch first, but there's very like specific choreography. And I love that term. I know it's a dancing term, but there's very specific choreography that you have to do in the pitch to make it make sense. And this is so nuanced. And this is what people don't get right. And they don't understand why their offer isn't converting. So I think that's the easiest because once you understand the choreography, once you're told the nuance, then you can actually do it and practice it. And then the hook part is tricky in coming up with the idea. But once you have the idea, actually building out that hook in that beginning is really not that hard. It's the idea that's hard. And
Hmm.
then the content, well, the content, everyone's like, oh, that's the easy part. I can do that. And I'm like, but is it? Because where most people go wrong with the content in a webinar is that they think that's the easy part. They think that's the part they're the expert at. But then they way overdo it because they don't want to be the fluffy guru that doesn't teach anything. and they do it or they overdo it so much that then people don't buy, or they give them the information that didn't really actually lead them to want to buy. They're talking like extraneous or adjacent information.
Hmm.
And so the hardest part of a webinar funnel is really just getting the presentation right. And that just takes some time and practice, but it's such a high leverage asset.
Is it weird that like I'm oddly relieved that there's choreography? You know what I mean?
No?
Like, right? Because like if you're telling me I need to sell live to 100 people, 20 people, whatever, right? Like that sounds scary. But if you tell me like I'm going to give you this step-by-step choreo, here's what to say, when to say it, here's how many slides you need, like that actually makes me feel a lot better. Because I'm
Yeah.
like I could read, especially like if I don't okay, I'm not good with teleprompters, but I am, but if I have the slides in front of me and I don't and actually could look at the slides, I mean, I'll do that all day long. Like I'll read some slides like till the cows come home, especially if it's like the proven way to do it. So I don't have to think about it. Like that makes me actually feel a lot better about.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like when someone says, "Hey, I wish I knew how to go viral," because it feels like such a weird thing to do. You're just like, "How do I go viral?" And then you have some like mega influencer like Adley, I think is what her name is, and she's like, "Oh, there's a script for that." And I'm like, "Wait, what?" But
100%.
it's like taking those things that feel um, like really hard to reach, and then being like, but
Yeah.
actually, just like we're gonna just break it down step by step by step, and then you're like, oh, okay, so it's
Yeah,
the
I don't want to have to be talented. You know, I don't want to have the natural talent of selling. And it's funny because I don't know if I ever told you this, but I got fired one time because I wasn't a good salesperson.
what?
Um, yeah, which is very hilarious because this is like I do marketing and selling all the time now. But yeah, like they said that I wasn't a good salesperson, and so it's funny that like it is not a skill I was born with. Like, let's just like get that straight. I have a lot of skills I was born with, right? Like we can't have everything, and selling was not one of them. And so it shows you that you just, and this, you know, that everything I learned was just from templates and step by step. And here's what you do. And just, you know, use the training wheels as long as until they fall off and you don't need them anymore. And so that's what I think I love about what you said about this whole presentation, this idea of selling in this way is that there is like a formula that this is the way humans
Exactly.
think. This is what humans need to understand in order to understand your messaging.
Mhm.
And it's one of the hardest part about art and design is because there aren't formulas. But with with writing, with selling, there are formulas, and so it's like yes, science, like yes, math. You know,
Yes,
like
yes.
it's exciting because it does. It's not so nuanced and just like it's not like you have to have a gut instinct or you have to have a talent. Like you literally can just follow the instructions, and I think that's really awesome. It's really
Yeah.
good.
So you just have to kind of get over this idea of, well, you don't just have to get over it, but you can have someone help you get over
Get
the
through it.
stage. Yeah, get through the stage fright or the rejection. And really putting aside a lot of those preconceived ideas about how much work a webinar is. And another reason why I love the live weekly webinar is because no one webinar has too much pressure. So when you do webinars in launches, there's a
Love
lot
that.
of pressure, right? Because it's like, shoot, let me not mess this up.
Here
And
it
I
is,
have,
all the marbles.
yeah, like I'll never forget. And I've told this story a million times, and I'm sure it's on my podcast, my other podcast somewhere. But Kristen, my client, she did a webinar, but her ad went viral. And so she had never done a webinar before, and she ended up with 6,000 people registered. And like the woman had no audience at the time.
Oh my
And the
gosh.
pressure to produce a good webinar with 6,000, I'm like, no, no, no. You don't understand. You want to be doing a webinar with 10 people in it because if you mess it up, you've messed up maybe one or two sales. And then the next week, you'll have 10 new people. And then maybe you'll do better. Right. And so the live webinar reduces the pressure on any one performance. And the nice thing is that once you get really good at it, let's say one week you're like, man, I was fire this week. That's the webinar you can use for the replay. And then that you can just keep that one available in the replay. And then you have the best version of the replay. It's just like so many reasons why I don't understand why more people aren't aren't doing weekly live webinars. I mean, it's just they're really, really beneficial. And, you know, to make sure that we're not being hypocrites, we're going to be doing weekly live webinars ourselves. even with our
Yeah, which is,
schedule.
and it's not going to be for a program, which is interesting. We're doing it for FG funnels.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's a totally different, I feel like less qualified to do it for that because I'm like, man, how do you sell like a software, in a live webinar weekly, one every single week saying the same thing, selling the same thing, not a new opportunity. Like we have it stacked against us. This is going to be like one of the hardest live webinars, I think, to build and to pull off, which is a good thing for you guys because then we'll learn all the things and then we'll tell you all the
I
things
know,
you're
to be
doing with
continued.
us.
But
Yeah.
we have we've done many webinars. We've done many live webinars. We have evergreen webinars. We've gotten, I mean, it's harder to get an evergreen webinar to convert, and we do have an evergreen webinar that converts really well. So we've definitely run the gamut. And you know what? Like the all of the like old ticker tape, like it's scammy, it's pushy, it's fluffy, it's whatever. Like we don't do those. Like this doesn't have to be that way. It can be educational, it can be fun, it can be not a hard sell, and all of those things can be true. So, and you don't have to call it a webinar. You can call it a workshop, a master class, you can call it whatever you want.
I think that one thing, just a mindset shift that might help with that is that if you really do a webinar right, you are actually making them better after they leave, whether they buy or not. And so
Exactly.
that's what I think is the ultimate for people who are afraid of selling. If I can make them understand something, even if it's a no, like even if they figure it out, they finally do never ever want to touch a funnel or whatever, right? Like at
Yeah.
least I just made a little bit of a positive impact today, whether they bought or not. And if you truly feel that when you teach it, when you're done teaching and you're getting them thanking you just for the training, because sometimes people will say, I can't afford this or I can't invest today,
Yeah.
but oh my gosh, that was so helpful. Thank you. That's enough, right? That's enough for it to be worth it for us to do it. So I think if you take it with that perspective, you'll feel really much better about it.
Yeah, I think that's such a good point. So I hope that we have number one convinced you that webinars will never die, and number two convinced you that maybe a live webinar is something you should incorporate in your business. So as always, we love to hear from you. Tag us on Instagram at Funnel Gorgeous. If you like this podcast, if you want us to talk about a particular topic, hit us up in the DMs, and we'll talk to you guys soon.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We're just getting started with this podcast, and we're so excited to have you on this journey with us. If you found value in today's episode, we'd be over the moon if you'd consider subscribing. It's like a virtual high five that keeps us going. And hey, if you're feeling extra gorgeous, leaving a review would mean the world to us. Your words not only make our day, but it also helps other amazing folks just like you find our show through your review. Lastly, if you know someone who could use a little sales pep talk, why not spread the love? Share this episode and let's grow this gorgeous community together.